All right, first of all, I'm honored to be invited to this event. And secondly, I want to apologize. After these wonderful people, I won't be half as attractive as they are. Is it okay?
Yeah, just a little bit closer.
Yeah, thank you. So, excuse me, I can't dance, well, the way they do, but I'll try to give you some ideas which I think might be of importance. So, the world beyond academics. In fact, because of my profession, I'm past academics quite long ago, but I'm not staying there. I'm always in and out along the path, from academics to professional life and back, because I'm a teacher. So, the question is a teacher a happy person who is satisfied with what he or she is doing? Well, we're not talking about money, you see. It's a very special case there, but professionally. So, in several words, I graduated from a very, very prestigious school and ambitious like yours. And I had top marks because I needed challenge. This is why I went to the university and chose the most difficult thing at that time, physics and mathematics. Graduating with honors, I went back to the same school which I have graduated from and became a teacher. Was I prepared? No. Because I was very good with my math and my physics. And this is about 50% what a teacher needs. The rest, well, there are many books, there are many institutions, everybody is telling you this and that, but that is nothing compared to real world. Real world, this time at school. Because I was just 4 years older than my students. I was 22, they were 18 years old. My colleagues, some of who were my former teachers, were at least 10 or more years older than me. So, naturally, I felt closer to my students than to my colleagues. And the same was true for my students. They saw in me a more experienced friend to whom they can talk. They can ask questions such like, why should I study hard to get excellent marks on all subjects? Well, there wasn't an SAT at that time, but something similar to that. Why can't I just pick up things that I'm interested in, be very good in that, creative, and work with that, not always with everything? Well, that was a question they wouldn't have asked their parents or their teachers. And then I started thinking, of course they were right. As time went on, my statistic, subconscious in the beginning, showed that all those who were really the best at everything were not the people who were the satisfied ones with what they were doing. Well, they didn't get what they were expecting. They didn't get what they were dreaming for, some of them. Besides, my colleagues who went into the teaching profession, well, I was among the few who found that profession very interesting and exciting. The others were either not satisfied or even may have hated it. So what was the secret thing that I have found? It was the place where I was. This secret thing were the students. They would ask questions, and trying to answer them that helped me become a better teacher. Now I'm going to tell you about a funny experience. So it was in my first or second year as a teacher. I was writing on the blackboard at that time, Rutherford's alpha scattering experiment. And from the back of the classroom, a voice said, "Excuse me, why should you teach me that experiment?" Why should I? Well, saying that it was important for science meant nothing. If it was in the book, then it was important. If I say because this was the first thing, first time people started to know what's in the atom, okay. But that was not an explanation. Then I thought to myself, why did I find it so interesting and exciting? And then I thought, maybe because of Rutherford. He was an exciting scientist, clever, inventive, creative, very good mathematician and very good physicist. But he was more. His knowledge was of encyclopedic character. He knew a lot about human nature, about human anatomy, about human eyes. And above all, he was a very good team leader. So I decided I'll start my lecture this way. It helped to a certain extent because there were people who dreamed of being, for example, medical doctors. Others wanted to be team leaders, politicians, and so on. But I wasn't satisfied. They were to a certain extent. I wasn't. Then I decided I'll buy a very small thing, which is a small, tiny device called scintilloscope, with which I can simulate the experiment. Well, I'm not going to bore you with the whole path which we had to go through, but anyway, after making them come to conditions when their eyes change their sensibility, and looking into this device, they started exclaiming, "Oh, it's like shooting stars. Oh, look, look, it's like fireworks," and so on and so forth. And then they started asking me about it. So what is it inside? How does it work? And when they were very excited, I said, okay, now go back. And in 10 seconds, each one of you, I want you to count how many such sparks you have seen. They said, no, it's impossible. Why not? But you can't count them. There are millions. Uh-oh, here we go. Well, Rutherford's colleagues had to count them because the result of the experiment was only one in the average of 10,000 such sparkles, alpha particles, did that and that. So they had to do the calculations. They had to know lots of math and so on. So things like that told me that if I want to be a good teacher and to be helpful to those who would become physicists, others who would become musicians. Sometimes I have students who would do both. I have a student who is a graduate from MIT, and in the evenings he goes to a symphonic orchestra in Boston and plays the trumpet. And he finds it very, very, very interesting. So I should be useful to all of them somehow. If we go back to that Mr. who was asking the question, why should you teach us this? By the way, he was the nightmare to all teachers because he asked similar questions, all the teachers. I was very interested to know what his fate was. And do you know what happened to him? he became a teacher. And not only a teacher, but a very good one. His students adored, trusted him, and respected him. So, my conclusion is, ask questions. Well, of course, you have to put them politely, but ask them, no matter what they mean. But when you ask, this means that you are thinking, number one. Number two, this is the feedback which the teacher gets. Otherwise, if there is a wall of blank eyes, nothing happens in this process. We're just losing time and energy. So this is why my plea to you is, if you have got papers in which you have to say what you think about what you have heard, please write down. This is what we need, and this is what will help us furthermore to lead you through the way from the school, which is a very secluded, very well protected area, no matter whether it is high school or college or university. And believe me, life there is nice and easy, no matter how many tests you have per week to do and so on. What is outside, the world beyond academics, you have to be prepared, and not just in the last moment, or we'll see what we'll do. You do that all the time while you're studying. And it is our job and joy, I mean teachers who really like what they do, to help you go through this path. Thank you.